So which design pattern we are going to start today, Karthik?
Chain of responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to explain the important ones first. See, ideally, everything is important, but no one can remember all the things, right? So when we are discussing or studying, we'll keep just like that. We don't study. Either you need to implement it, or either you need to crack the interview. Correct?
Correct. So I mean,
So
yesterday I went for an interview, and
yeah.
there one person asked me a question saying like, as I have already worked on Spring and Spring Boot, so what are the I mean like design patterns we have? I mean like Spring or Spring Boot is using. So
One you can say singleton pattern. Okay, and
yeah,
other you can say front controller design pattern. So that comes under J2EE patterns. So Spring uses front controller. The meaning of a front controller is Spring has a dispatcher servlet, right? Every request is handled by the dispatcher servlet. So if you look at the structs, it is not like that. In the struct framework, you have a struct config.xml. So in the struct config.xml, you will differentiate different servlets. So the request will come to the struct config.xml, and from there it will go to the corresponding controller. But in the Spring, it is not like that. Whatever may be the request, it comes to the dispatcher servlet, and from the dispatcher servlet, you will send it to some other controller or business service. So Spring follows front controller design pattern and the singleton design pattern. A singleton means because whenever you are creating a bean, the predefined scope of a bean is singleton. If you want to have multiple objects, then you can mention the prototype as scope as a prototype so that multiple objects will be created.
correct. But I mean like I explained this. I mean like I explained Singleton. Then I explained in IOC. Okay, IOC is also one of the design
Yes,
patterns.
yes. Yeah.
Then dependency injection, that is also I explained it. Apart from that, he said like builder. So do we
Okay.
have builder design
Yes.
pattern also in this Spring?
Yes, yes. We have a builder design pattern. Yes. So what happens is builder design pattern is so basically the builder design pattern comes into picture. So now, for example, you have an employee class. Okay. In the employee class, assume that you have no, you have 10 fields. Let me share my screen. Hope you guys are able to see my screen. No, it's loading, I think. Yeah. Is it fine now?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. In the builder design pattern, what happens is, so example, I'm taking a employee. So first I created employee ID, employee name, employee salary. With these three, I'm creating a constructor. Okay, done. So whenever I have a constructor, whenever I'm creating an object, I'll pass 3. Now in future, I'll get 1 more. So will I create a new constructor or will I modify the existing constructor?
We will modify.
If you modify wherever you are using that, we will get a compilation error. Right?
Yes. Yeah, right. Sorry.
So you will create a new one, right? If you modify the existing constructor, wherever you are using, you will get a compilation error, correct? Now my question is, now let me draw it so that you will understand. So builder means, so here employee I have. So guys, today we are discussing about chain of responsibility, but Srikanth, I think Rajesh has asked a question on what is a builder, is a Spring follows a builder. So I'm just telling you what is a builder at high level. So employee has a employee ID, salary, and name. These are the first 3 variables. Now I will create a constructor called employee ID, salary, name. Done. Now in future, I want to include one more Aadhaar card. Now, do I change this constructor or should I create one more constructor with 4 parameters?
Create one more constructor.
Yeah. So employee ID, salary, name, Aadhaar card. Whenever I'm creating, that means this expects 4 values. But for example, salary is optional. I don't want to create a salary. Now, how many combinations I need to create? one constructor I need to create with this one, and one constructor with fold the values, correct?
Yes, sir.
And for example, in future, you will add one more element. Can I say that you will create one more constructor, correct? And if, for example, if you're adding first name, sorry, middle name, first name, last name, is the middle name mandatory? No. That means multiple constructors, and see, based on the what you call mandatory fields, if all the fields are provided, you will call the employee constructor with takes all the elements. Now, if I don't provide the middle name, then you call a constructor with a with middle name only. Okay. Now, why? So you might be asking, sir, I will use a get set method. No, I don't want to use a set method. I want to create an object using a constructor. So whenever the fields are happening more, then can I say that you need to have multiple constructors? If, for example, in the employee class, you have 100 fields, and out of this 100 fields, 10 are optional. How many constructor you need to create? With this 10, you need to create permutations and combinations. And then with 100 fields, you need to create one more constructor. Whenever you have these, the number of fields are becoming more, can I say that the creating an object using a constructor will become difficult or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because whenever you're creating a constructor, you need to pass the data. In place of mobile number, you might pass Aadhaar card number. In place of Aadhaar card number, you might pass mobile number as a human error, correct? Yes or no? So
Yes.
in order to overcome these kind of object creation problems, we go for a builder pattern. So in the builder pattern, what we'll do is dot methods. Like for example, if you are using a Spring buffer or Spring builder, every time you will call append method, correct? Now what I will do here, first I will create a basic here in the employee. Though you have 100 fields, you will have maximum mandatory 10 fields, correct? With this 10 fields, I will create one constructor. So first I will create employee E equal to new employee, and I will pass this 10 mandatory values. Now I have created with this 10 mandatory values, I have created an object now, E. On top of this object, some person will say middle name. See, for example, if I want to use, if the user is providing middle name, then only I need to append to this object. Then what I will do, with the basic mandatory values, I will create an object. On top of this, dot add mid name. Then only if they provide the mid name, then I will add it. Now, on top of this, for example, if they provide salary, add salary. That means on top of this, I am calling the different methods. I mean, like optional methods, add salary. And at the end, I will say build. Then it will create an object. So in order to avoid the object creation problems and not to have the multiple constructors, we go for a builder design pattern, which we'll be discussing in upcoming classes. So basically, the builder design pattern will resolve the object creation issues. Hope you understand.
Yes.
Rajesh?
Yes.
Yes, sir. One question here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to add middle name, that a middle name property should be there in the object. Am I right?
Yes.
But
It is
initially,
anyways, you will create a set, I mean, like private variable in this class. But if you are using a constructor type of a object creation, with middle name, one constructor you need to create. Without middle name, you need to create one more constructor. Based on the user input data, you need to select which constructor will be called. And your class will have n number of constructors, maybe 10 or 20 constructors. Whenever you have that many number of constructors, which one to be called will be difficult. That is one point. And for example, if the number of fields are more, whenever you're creating an object as a human error, instead of like if there are number fields or in place of Aadhaar card, you can provide a mobile number also. So that means if you specify wrongly, see, though Aadhaar card number is a long variable, mobile number is also a long variable. Is it happen that in this place I can send this one, right? It may happen, right? So that is also another issue. To overcome that, we will create a optional methods. But so whenever you say optional field, is it mandatory to provide the data?
no.
Whenever the user is providing, then only I need to call that method, right? So that is what we can use in the builder pattern.
But we need to declare all the variables, am I right?
Yeah, you need to declare. If without declaring, how can you say that the object is using those fields, correct?
No. Yeah, whatever the properties, we need to declare initially all the properties.
Yes. It will have all the properties. Only you will not have multiple constructors. That is the thing I'm trying to tell.
Okay, that's fine.
So don't worry, we will discuss that in upcoming class. But since the topic has come, I explained it. Okay. Okay. Now let us go for today's topic, that is called chain of responsibility. Okay. Now let me write one program, guys. You guys tell me what is our output. Class test main method. So when I say main method, see, assume that it's a main method, like it is following all the syntax. Okay. I'm calling M1 and just a minute. Yeah. M1, M2, M2, M3, M3, this is the entire class. Now I'll make it small. You guys tell me, is there any issue in this program?
The exception may be occur.
Okay. Before that exception, will it compile?
It will compile, sir.
Okay.
It will not compile because we are using non-static methods in static method.
So this should be static. Okay. So wantedly I have written, guys. Okay. Just to tell you. Okay. From main is a static method. So M1 should be static. I have to mention static, correct? Yeah. Now, will it compile now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the output?
The arithmetic exception.
Okay. Apart from that, so you will get java.lang.arithmetic, correct?
Yes.
Arithmetic exception. And you will say that divided by 0, something, correct?
Yes.
Now, apart from that, what do you get? If I just like that, I will execute, take this program, I execute. Do you get only this exception, or you will get some other lines also?
Some other lines also.
It will come in stack actually. From where it is still working. How it
Yeah, that is what. Just tell me that.
Print stack trace method output will be displayed.
Yeah, what is that output I want? That's where this chain of responsibility comes into picture.
Sir, actually that is the file name mentioned and row name, column name, and like that.
Yeah, you have the file name, you have the method name. Leave about the line number. Okay. Just tell me the method name, how the flow will happen. So can I say in the first it will show M3, correct? Test.M3. The error occurred in where? Test.M3. Then you can see test dot, where this M3 method is called M2, test.M2, right? Where this M2 is called test.M1. Okay. And then where the test is called?
Main method.
Main, correct? So can I say all these line numbers will come at this is a hierarchy, correct?
Yes.
Now let us write this program and see in the Eclipse. This itself is a chain of responsibility. I will tell you once I write the program, execute the program, I will explain. And we will also see some other ATM example also. Chain of responsibility example. Main method. Okay. Guys, I'm just using the shortcuts of Eclipse. I hope you understand. You already know that. If you do not know, let me know. I can explain that shortcuts as well. Yeah, whoever is not speaking, please go on mute. Now let me run the program. Run as Java application. See, do we get the same thing? Java.lang.arithmetic exception by divided by 0. See, divided by 0. And then first class name followed by M3. Yes, test. Here my class name is test. Test followed by M3. Then test followed by M2, M1, main. And the line number, correct? So whatever I have written, is it same?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, can someone tell me how Java is doing this one? So here, that means here now, whenever you are doing the divided by 0, JVM is throwing an exception. You know that, right? Now I am trying to ask you the important thing, how JVM will handle exception. What is the process? How JVM will handle exception. That means whenever JVM is throwing the exception, right? What is happening? How it does know? How JVM will handle exception?
I
So
think
there
it is maintaining the stack.
Okay. Where it will maintain?
Sir, from main method, there is a default handler. Once it is created, the exception in the M3 method, it is throw to the caller method.
Okay.
So
how does the Java know that caller method? See, you have the eyes and you have a powerful brain. You are thinking, correct? But how does the Java know? M3 is getting called from M2, M2 is getting called from M1.
As for every method call, it maintains a stack memory.
Okay.
So in stack, each call is maintained. So by tracing that calls, the JVM will know the caller method.
Yeah. So in Java, there is something called call stack. Call stack. So this call stack, in this call stack, all the method calls will be used. Now here, let me draw something like a table. So it is not exactly a table, right? Because I cannot show you the memory. If I ask you that someone, you will remember me, maybe after the complete of the close, either good way or bad way. But if someone is asking you that, do you remember Karthik? You will say yes, but where it is in your brain, do you show? No. That means memory is something you cannot show exactly where it is, right? So call stack is there. Now, what is the first thing? Main method. So it will store like this. First main method. From main, you are calling M1. How does the Java know that from main you are calling M1? Whenever you are calling each method call, it will store on top of this main, there will be M1. On top of M1, there is M2. On top of M2, there is M3. Do you have anything else in this example? No. So where this method calls are getting stored, there is a memory called call stack. So in the call stack, this memory is stored. Now, where the memory error exception occurred? In M3 method. So whenever the exception occurs, okay, what in M3, first of all, whenever the exception occurs, JVM will create exception object. Will create exception object. Exception object. JVM will create exception object. What it will do is, so it will check, so exception object. Now, JVM will know that something divided by 0 is nothing but arithmetic exception. So when I say arithmetic exception, can I say, do we have an arithmetic exception class in Java? In the java.lang package, we have, correct? That's the reason it is showing the package name followed by class name. Yeah. Do you have a class? Yes. So Java is so intelligent that by looking at the exception, it knows what kind of exception. So it will create it. If it is a generic, it will create a normal throwable object or exception object. But here, something divided by 0, it knows already that arithmetic exception. So it will create arithmetic exception object. So that is what it has created a object. So in the first line, okay, done. After this, now once the exception has occurred, it will create an exception object, and then the JVM will look at a call stack. Now where this exception occurred in the M3, so it will print that M3 method. See, exception chain of responsibility dot M3 done. Now where this M3 is called, it will go back. Now it will check whether does this exception is handled in the M3. What does it meant by handling an exception? What is meant by handling an exception in Java?
By using try catch block, we will handle that exception, or
Yeah.
we will provide alternate solution.
If I write a try catch block, can I say, will I get a try? Now, if I write like this, will I get a stack trace now? No.
No.
No, I don't get, correct? The reason is you are handling by in M3 method exception is occurred. JVM is created exception object and it looked at M3. Now, will it go to M2? See, still the call stack will store all this information, M2, M3, M2, M1, like this it will store. But now if you run the program, will the same output will be shown or different output?
Output will be different.
Yeah. Why it is different? Because you are handling an exception, correct? See, you did not write anything, correct? Now let me write here. It is coming into the exception block. Let me write E. Even E also it will show arithmetic exception only, right? See, divided by 0. It is not showing the call stack. That means, so all the method calls will be stored in the call stack. So what JVM will do, whenever there is an exception, JVM will create an exception object. In this scenario, arithmetic exception object is created, and then it will look at the call stack in M3. Does the exception is handled in M3? Is it handled earlier scenario? Let me remove the try catch. Is it handled? No. Then what it will check? If it is not handled, where the M3 is called? By how did it know? By looking at the call stack, M3 is called from M2. It will throw you the line of M3. It will throw you M2, right? Because M3 is getting called from M2. Now, is the exception is handled M2? No. Then it will go M1. Is it handled? No. Then it will go to main method. So likewise, if the exception is not handled, it is throwing back. Now let me write try and catch in M1, M2. So what is the output, guys? Can someone tell me now? It will show you M3, it will throw from M3's exception is occurred. From here, it will go to the M2. From here, M2, it will go to the M1. But in the M1, are you handling? Yes. So it will not go from main to main method, right? Okay. Here I'm not printing it. Okay. Let me print it. Okay. So whatever the predefined Java behavior is there, that will execute only when you are not handling an exception. Whenever you are handling an exception, what happens? So JVM will look at the call stack and it will check whether the exception is handled or not. If the exception is not handled, by looking at the call stack, it will know from where it is called. And then it will transfer it will throw the object to that called method. And from here, M1 it will throw. From M1, it will throw the main method, right? So this is how the JVM will handle the exception. This itself is nothing but a chain of responsibility design pattern. So I will come to the definition. I will show the definition, everything. But if you want to remember this one, chain of responsibility is nothing but this one. Now let's quickly Google it and then show you guys. Okay. If you look at here, any of the things, it will tell you that chain of responsibility, or here I'm not able to get it. Okay, you can read the SCJP book by James Gosling. There is a text book. So if you look at that book or any of this one, Stack Overflow, you can see that it follows the chain of responsibility design pattern. So what does the chain of responsibility will tell you is, let's go to the definition. Guys, I have shared the entire notes in the WhatsApp group, guys. You can, if you want, you can go through that. So in this PDF document, you have all the, what you call, all the design patterns. You can prepare for the interview. Okay. Now, so chain of responsibility design pattern consists of a source of command object and series of processing object. Okay. Now, basically, once, okay, what problem that the chain of responsibility design pattern will solve? Coupling of sender request to its receiver should be avoided. So it should be possible that more than one receiver can handle a request. Now, so whenever we are doing, so before servlets, Spring framework was introduced. So servlet was there. Does anyone know filter concept in the servlet? What does the filter will do?
Sorry, in each it is applying in servlet for filtering
Request.
It
do
intercepts
all the
incoming
message
request before controller.
Yeah. So for example, I have in the servlet, I have even in servlet or structs, we can have a filter concept. So I can create, see, login servlet I can create. Oh, if it is, every application will have a login, sign up, home page, and logout. So these 4 servlets have been created. Now, for example, if I come to the login page or home page or logout page, what is the prerequisite for these 3? User should have a valid credentials, correct? So I'm telling you, I have every application will have sign up functionality, login functionality. Once you log in, you will go to home page and then log out. Can you say every application will have these 4 common functionalities?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now, whenever you are doing leave about sign up. So sign up is nothing but for the first time users. Whenever you click on login button, or whenever you are going to the home page and clicking something, or whenever you're performing logout, for all these 3, users should have valid credentials, correct? Correct username, password. Yes or no? So
Yes.
can I say that the common logic bit to go to these controllers or return of this controller is, you need to have whatever the user is entering the username, password, whether it is there in the session or whether directly he's copy pasting the URL or clicking the login button or clicking the home button, whatever thing. Whenever the request comes, the first thing you need to do, you have to validate whether the user has a correct username or password. What people will do, they will log it in one browser and then copy the URL and paste it in the different browser. Correct? So for example, if you go to your net banking, log into your net banking, okay, login in the Google Chrome. Okay. You go to the home page, copy the home page, copy the URL from here and then open it in the Google Chrome Edge browser. Will it work?
No, it will not work.
So how does they know that? That means because earlier, whatever you are entering the username, password, it might be stored in the cache or session management that is present in this browser. But whenever you're going to the different browser, so that means whenever you're going to the different Edge browser and clicking refresh with the same URL, they're still again checking whether that means you are directly accessing the home page in the Edge browser. But still they are doing whether you have a valid username, password, correct? Now how they do, so instead of, that means in order to go to the home page, home controller directly, for all these 3, the common functionalities, the user should have a valid username, password. This is the throughout all the applications maximum. Then instead of writing this code in multiple controllers, can I write this in the filter? So filter is something in servlet which gets executed before the controller. Okay, so before sending the request to the controller, what we will do, in the filter, we will write some code. say here that user should have a valid credentials. That code I will write here. If the credentials are correct, then corresponding controller, I will transfer the request. If the credentials are wrong, then can I say that from here it will go back to the UI? This is the purpose of filter. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Everyone, is it right? Yeah. Now, can you have multiple filters?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I have multiple filters, what I will do in this filter, I will do like these credentials. Okay. Now, after these credentials, then I want to do execute set whether you have the proper role. Because, for example, if you are using a net banking, okay, net banking can be used by customers and then the employees of the bank, correct? Employees of bank. So how do you differentiate? Can I say that role? The role will be a customer. For customer, the role is customer. For a role for the employee is employee. So based on role, you need to validate whether the person is having a proper role or not. Okay. Now, in order to do that, what I will do after first, I will once this filter is executed successfully, I will add one more filter. So the request from one filter, the request will come to another filter. Okay. Now, so then if this is also successful, then only it will go to controller. Correct. So in this way, let's show you guys here. One such classic example is servlet filters in Java that allows multiple filters to process an HTTP request. Though in that case, each filter invokes the chain of filter to the next filter. So here, only see here, one request is coming, that request is processed by one filter, and then from here, you are chaining to another filter. And again, you can go to another filter, and then you will go to the controller. So here, this is nothing but another classic example of chain of responsibility design pattern. So delegation of an object from one place to, so you're not delegating, the request will be sent to one object to another object, right? So that is delegation is nothing but a chain of responsibility. Okay. Now I can tell you another example. Now now we are going to discuss about one example of ATM machine. So this code we will write in the tomorrow class, but I am telling you the concept how we can do ATM machine. Okay. Now, because the time may not suffice to write this code, so I will explain the concept today, and tomorrow we will write the code of this ATM machine, and then we will see how the chain of responsibility pattern is getting applied here. Now,
Karthik, in case of this servlet filter, the delegation is happening because first they will check for role and then it will delegate to check for the login credential. Is that the, I mean,
yeah, see, the first filter is checking whether the proper credentials are there or not. After that, I want to do the validation of role. That I will keep it in another filter. So once the credentials are proper, it will be sending the request to another chain. So if that is done, there I can write another filter also. Correct?
So by invoking one, it will automatically invoke other.
Yes. Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes. Yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, can we say we can use filter as interceptor?
Yes.
As an interceptor, we can use.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Okay.
So wherever we need to, invoke multiple functionalities with objects, we can use this thing.
No, that is what chaining should be. Yeah, chaining should be there. From one to another thing you can go. Then you can use a chain of responsibility. I'll tell you one example. If you understand ATM, then you will get to know. What are the notes that we can draw from an ATM? 2000, 500, and 100, correct? Now, if I am trying to withdraw 2,800, what do you think? What do you get? Some like the best case scenario, one 2,000 note, correct? Now, after that, see one 2,000 note, and then second time, you will get one 500 note, and third time, 100 notes, 3, correct? Yes or no? Here, so whenever you're transferring, so here, how do you select? See, can I say that in the ATM, there will be a different tracks for 2,000, 500, and 1,100? And what is the amount I'm entering? 2,800. Now, first, where should I start my logic? So if you see, I can go to directly, people will say, sir, if the 2000 is not there, then you will give all the multiples of 500 only. If 500 is also not there, then you will give all the multiples of 100. But assume that all the nodes are present for time being. Then what do you do? Where do you start your logic? 2000, correct?
2000.
Yeah. So what is my request? 2800. Now, first, can I say that this is the number I'm entering? This is nothing but a request. Yeah. Now, this first request will go to the 2000 dispenser. So this is, I will create a class. So in that class, I will write the logic. I will write one, and see here, whenever I say 2000, one note will come out of 2800, one note is coming. That means I will write a dispense method, something. In the dispense method, I will calculate how many 2000 notes will be done. How can I do? 2800 divided by 2000. What is the see, what does this will give you guys? See, whenever I'm doing the differentiation, dividing like that,
it give you
One.
so there is a two symbols. This symbol will give you reminder, correct?
Yes.
And this will give you quotient, right? Quotient. Now here 1, then you will get 2000, and 800 is left out, correct? Now here what I see, can I say here, whatever I'm getting here, number of 2000 notes variable? Yes or no? Now, what is the left out amount? How can I get the left out amount? Can I say reminder?
800.
Yeah. Okay. Now, reminder. Now, if the
Should be
reminder is
500. Sir.
Yeah.
500 should be there, right? Reminder with reminder.
So 800, right?
800.
800 divide reminder.
Yeah.
with
We'll go to, yeah. Now, for example, if the reminder, see, when do you go to 501? If the reminder is not equal to 0 only, correct? If the reminder is not equal to 0, then where do you go? What is the process? First, you will check 200, 2000. And then if the reminder is not equal to 0, then where your flow should go? From here, 2000 nodes class, where your should go request to the 500. That means whatever the request that is coming to this class, I mean like to this dispense method, from here, I will create a chain. That chain will go to 500 class dispense method, correct? 500 class dispense method. Am I right? Don't worry, I will come to the example of 2200 also. I will come to the example of 200 also, not a problem. We will discuss all this, but I'm taking the happy path scenario now. So if the reminder is not equal to 0, I'm going to the 500 class dispense method. Done. In the 500 class dispense method, can I say I will have a dispense method also again? Yes. What is the, currently it is coming 500 rupees. Done. Now, can I say that again? Number of 500 nodes equal to, what should I do, guys?
2800.
Yeah, sorry. What is the left out amount? 800, correct? 800 divided by 500, correct? Yeah. Now, what is the reminder?
300.
300.
Yeah, 800 percentile by 500. Okay. Now, then see if the reminder is not equal to 0, from here, where should I go?
The dispense method of 300.
100. Yeah, correct. 100 class. Now, see here, what does it mean? This is a real-time example. So can I say I will create one class for 2000 nodes. I will create another class for 500 nodes. I will create another class for 100 nodes. I'm calling that class names also 200 class, 500 class, and 100 class. 100 class dispense method, correct? Done. Now, in the 100 class dispense method, again, I will have a dispense method. And what I'm passing here? 300, correct? That reminder I'm passing. Dispense followed by reminder, correct? Now, here, how many number of 100 nodes equal to 300% divided by 100, correct? Now, reminder 300 percentile by 100. Now, if the reminder is here, reminder is 0. So I can stop, correct? Yes or no? Now, in this example, if you look at, my request has come to the 2000 racks first. It is dispensed. From here, it is going to the 500 racks. and from here it is going to the 100 racks. So am I sending the request from like one request is handled by multiple things? So is it following a chain?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is of one of the example. Now you guys tell me, I want to withdraw 2,200 what? Okay. Now 2,200. Now it will come to the 200 rack. Now 2,200 divided by 2,000. What is the number of notes? 2,000 notes 1. And what is the remainder? 200. 200. So here remainder not equal to 0. Yes, it will go to 500. Here you got 200. 200 by 500. Right? Is it divisible? For example, will you get a quotient 0 point something, correct? Now, can I say, right, if it is not equal to this one, not equal to 0, I will write else part, correct? In the else part, can I say dispense to the 100 section? Yes or no?
If it is greater than that value, less than that value, we can dispense to next.
Dispense. That means there is no two. See, if for example, whatever this method is taking the value is less than this 500, I will shift. I will I will skip this one. Like there are no 500 nodes. I will go to the 100 nodes. In that way, even I can handle all the scenarios. Okay. But here, how can I say that we are following a chain of responsibility? Because the first request is coming to the 2,000 nodes, and then I'm creating a chain. So what is the chain? First 2,000 rack, then 500 rack, then 100 rack. Each time I'm sending a request to the 2,000 rack, and then from there I'm calculating how many 2,000 nodes, and then dispensing the request to the 500 rack. That means only one request is coming, guys, to other object. So 500 will process that request, and whatever the left out amount, it will send it to the 100 rack. So in this way, we are creating a chain and following the chain of responsibility. And sometime in some of the interviews, they might ask you also, can you design an ATM, correct? Does anyone heard this question? Can you, like, if I have to design an ATM machine, how can I do? Correct? Yes or no? You haven't heard?
Yes.
So yeah, if you see here, can I say that, leave about that card reader, everything. So you can, that is a embedded system, correct? Whenever you insert a card, the microchip will read the card details, and then it will ask you to, you will be logged in. You will get a home page, balance inquiry and all. But whenever you want to withdraw, whenever you click on withdraw and then enter the money, can I say this is the process that will happen? See, it may be different, but can I say this is one of the process that I can also do?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this has to be handled there.
Yeah. So now, for example, if I'm giving the input as 10 to this method, if I giving the input of 10, so immediately you will get a error message saying that we can please enter multiples of 100, correct? Now, same thing I will mention. Is it 10? Is it multiples of 200, 2000? Or is it multiple of 500? Is it multiple of 100? If nothing is this one, then can I say directly throw the error in the main method itself? Please enter multiples of 2000 or 500 or 100.
Yeah, that is also chain of responsibility.
Yeah. So, we can handle. So this example, I thought of telling orally, but again, this might be another system design question also. If someone is asking you to design an ATM, this is what internal implementation of ATM, like maybe different guys, but at a high level, this is what we can think of. Okay. Now,
so, sir, just a second. So, can we, for an example, if this is the approach, for an example, for chain of responsibility, so the ticket booking system also comes under the same design pattern?
No, ticket booking system, you will not forward that request, right?
For an example, there are 5 buses are available from Bangalore to Mumbai every night. So if a passenger comes and try to book a ticket, then it will validate it will validate the time, and it will validate the bus and the seat availability. If that pass, and it will go to the next seat availability, then so is that, can we tell that here?
No, that because that becomes a performance issue over there. See, here, if you have 1,000 buses, you cannot check every bus, right? So there.
No, we are applying a filter, right? So 8 p.m. filter, then high-tech bus filter, again sleeper, again AC. So we are applying multiple filters across the system, right?
Yes.
No,
Instead that
I
you
am not
can use
debating.
a,
I am
yeah,
not
yeah.
debating. Just I'm just wanted to understand.
Yeah, in that way you can say. But the thing is, whenever you are using a ticket booking system, you have to use a multi-threading process because see here also you have to use a multi-threading. But this is how, see, whatever may be the thread. For example, to this ATM machine, 10,000 people can come, and then see, in 10,000 branches will be there, and they will try to withdraw at the same time. But logic is same, 2,500, 100, but it has to be multi-threaded. But whenever you come to the ticketing system, one bus, multiple people will try to book it, right? See, for example, so you can book for your mother, and same if you ask me, see, Tatkal tickets. So if I have to book a ticket for my parents, only for the one ticket, how many people will try? Many people, correct?
Correct.
But here, when can you have multiple debit cards or ATM something for one account at a time active? No, correct? Only one will be there, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So whenever you're going for a ticket booking system, you have to use a read write lock something, multi-threading.
Okay.
So I'll tell you one thing. So whenever you're trying to in the lock mechanism in the core Java, we have synchronization and then there is a lock. So there is a advantages of locking mechanism than the synchronization. How the ticketing booking system will be, this is what I am thinking. It may be something different also, guys. Okay. Now assume that this is a bus. No, okay. There will not be this one. Okay. Now this is 2 seats. This side is 2 seats. Okay, done. Now you are trying to book this. You have selected this ticket. This what you call this seat. Okay, and then you clicked on next. Okay. Now, can the same seat can be booked by others?
Yes.
Can they
can try. They can try at same time.
See, whenever you select it, can I say they don't see this option, correct? For 10 minutes. Okay. At least for 10 minutes, correct?
Until you release that one.
Yeah. So then what kind of a logic you can explain is, we can, in this ticketing booking system, we can use read write lock. So in re-entrant lock, read write lock. So there are different locking mechanisms in Java. Read write lock. What happens whenever you select a whenever you are, so when in the read write lock, what will happen is, whenever the writing thread is started working, all the reading thread will go into the waiting mode. When writing thread started working, it will acquire the lock. All the reading threads has to wait. Once this completed, all the reading threads can start working. Now, whenever you select it and then click on next, you will go to the payment page. That means you are able to do the payment. Whether you have done the payment or not done the payment, it is different. But whenever you are clicking on this payment button, what does it mean? You have logged this one, correct? Can I say that?
Correct.
Yeah, this is a right activity you are doing. So whenever you click on this payment button, what you can do is you can create a read write lock. So wherever you are doing the payment method, in that you can create a write lock. In the read write lock, there are 2 locks, write dot lock and then read dot lock. Whenever you mention the write dot lock, so this object will be locked. Even some other persons trying to access for this one, they have to go to the wait mode. Now you will do the payment. Okay, whether the payment is failed, then what do you need to do? You will write a payment method. In this payment method, what do you do first? Write dot lock. Before the starting of the logic, you will write dot lock. Done. Here, so whenever, if it is NEFT, UPI and all, you will go here, correct? You will go to the payment vendor and then you will come back. Whenever you're coming back, if it is success, then it will be locked. I mean, you don't show. I mean, you have to change the color of that seat because it's already booked. For example, if the payment is failure, not success, then what do you need to do? write dot really like lock dot release. You need to release the lock. Once you release the lock, then all the reading threads, any other person who is trying to select this ticket, it is visible for them, and they can select and do the payment. So this is what I can think of the best solution for a ticket booking system.
Okay, so read write lock design pattern is there, right?
Not design
sorry,
pattern, it's a
thread.
locking mechanism. Yeah.
Locking.
In the threads, in the generally in core Java, we have a synchronization. We have a synchronized keyword, correct? Similarly, there are disadvantages of a synchronization, because synchronization or synchronized keyword you can use for a method or a block. Only in one method you can do the lock mechanism. But using a lock, say for example, if I want to I have a M1 method. Okay, I want to acquire the lock in M1 method. Okay, and then I will release the lock in M2 method. Unlock. Release the lock is nothing but unlock. Unlock. So using the lock mechanism, the advantage is using a synchronization. Synchronization keyword you can use within the method, but the lock interface you can use. You can acquire the lock in one method and then release the lock in another method. That is the advantage of lock mechanism. Under the lock mechanism, there are different locks: re-entrant lock, read-write lock. Using the read-write lock, if you do the ticketing system, that would be best one. It is not all like there are different ways to do it. This is one of the way I can answer if someone asks me.
So that synchronization will take the lock for the entire class, right?
No, it's depends on what kind of variables you are using. If you are using static variable, it will acquire the class lock. If you are using a instance variable, it will acquire the object lock on the object.
Okay. Basically, entire object it will take lock, right?
Yeah. If it is a different object, it is different.
So in this case, but in the lock unlock, we can
the same thing
only on the method of.
No. It is also depends on variable only. Same object lock also can happen. Static lock, like class lock also can happen using the lock mechanism.
So in the lock, we are going to lock mechanism to avoid others methods to get locked, right? But in case of synchronization, all other methods also will get.
So for example, if it is a synchronization, if you are using a synchronized keyword, one thread is executing one synchronized method. Can a other thread on the same object execute any other synchronized method?
That's what it cannot do that.
It cannot. But using the lock mechanism, so there in the lock interface, there is one method called try lock. If you call this try lock, if there is a lock, then it will not execute. Okay. In the whatever you mentioned, see, that means you can do some other work also. If there is a lock, you execute something else. Okay. Now, if there is no lock, get the lock. Using the try lock method, you can do that. That is the advantage of lock interface. But this kind of a flexibility is not there in the synchronization. Okay. So any other questions? So I will be sharing this ATM code, guys. I request you guys to look at it. We will write the code again tomorrow. But if you just look at it, at least you will get some overview idea. Okay. Will that be fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Yes, sir.
Yeah, tomorrow we will see this one, and then I'll give you the introduction to the builder design pattern.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, I can see the teachable. I'm seeing the videos, but where you store all the notes?
Notes. So I just now shared it in the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are not sharing anywhere
no,
other than. Okay.
No. I thought of keeping it in the Ashok IT website also. Whenever you have the Ashok IT website, you will be given with a login. I mean, like your email ID and then some password, I think. Yeah. Once you go to this dashboard, you can see all your enrolled courses. Okay.
Yes, I'm seeing that, but only videos I can see that. Not.
Let's go to here. If you go to the design pattern, click on view notes. Here I have download.
Recently they are uploaded. Day before yesterday it was not there. Yesterday it is there.
Okay. So you can see I have uploaded, these are the notes. Factory pattern, singleton code, factory pattern design notes, etc. You can click on the download section. You can download the notes.
Yeah, we are able to access that.
Yeah. I have tried to post that complete notes also, but due to some 404 error is coming. Let me show you guys. So that's the reason I shared it in the WhatsApp group. I'll inform them on this error, design pattern complete notes. So see, I got a 403. So I will talk to the admin and let them know. But in the meantime, you want to study, then you can follow whatever I shared it in the WhatsApp group. Don't worry, at the end of the course, like once we discuss all, maybe I told 30 to 45 days, right? Whenever at the end of the course, I will share complete notes, and then complete code, and then interview questions. I'll keep one in the one folder, and I will zip that folder and I'll give it with you. I'll keep it with you guys.
Sir, today you have taken this ATM example. Just like that, some of the interview questions are scenario based, like how ATM machine works. They give us currency notes as well. So that type of question, if you have, you can, if you have, please share with us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So this comes under system design as well, and depends on people. So this is I can see when I say system design, then I have to handle how efficient my ATM machine is. Means I could say if one person is trying multiple times, the synchronization should happen between the machine to the actual database, correct? There should be an internet connection. I'm like proper internet connection, and then synchronization. Like there is a immediate account balance has to be reduced from the account, right? And debit, account credit, everything should happen without any latency. I mean, like without any what do you call time. So those are the things we need to consider during the system design. But if you come to the logic, this is how I can say the logic. Yes, if I have some examples during this design pattern, you will get to know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I hope you're finding interesting and understandable, right? Course, whatever we discussed so far, everyone.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will share this code. Please look at the code and then understand the code. Tomorrow we will write this code and then we'll go into the builder design pattern. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So there is a multi-threading workshop I am going to conduct on Sunday. It's multi-threading means generally people know that multi-threading, but if I ask you to write a multi-threading code, they don't. And they do not know how the threads are executing, creating, etc. Right? So I'm taking a free workshop on the multi-threading on Sunday, maybe 10 or 10:30. You will get the poster will be circulated soon. If you are interested, you can join. And if any of your friends are interested, you can refer them, and you don't need to pay anything. It's a free.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, may I know what topics are you covering in that?
I mean, like a basic of threads and then executor framework. Multi-threading we can do using executor framework, right? That is I'm going to cover.
Yes, right. Means executors framework will also include like thread pools and thread groups, right?
Yeah, thread pools. Yes, I'll take one thread pool example. I'll explain.
Okay, and this today you have explained. Today you have taken some try lock and this locking mechanism. Is it also going to be covered in there?
So it's a time constraint, right? So if it is possible, I'll try. But if not, I cannot, because threads is a very difficult topic. Yeah, huge topic, and then it is not easy to understand also, right?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. So let's see, whatever you can learn, you can. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if possible, I am thinking to keep a course on entire threads, like not only countdown latch, read write lock, reentrant lock, threads, executor framework, object lock, class lock. I mean, like so though it is a core Java topic, many of the people does not know. I just wanted to keep a course on maybe a 2 weeks or 3 weeks on only the threads. Let's see how it goes. If it is everything success, then I will let you know that.
Yes, sir. That would be helpful.
How long this session will be there?
Maybe 1 hour 30 minutes maximum. Maximum. Because I cannot speak beyond that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.
Thanks. Thank you.